Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJNTV Insiders.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the PHDJ podcast with your two hosts, myself, Joe Bunn, and the man on the other end.
Myself and I. Remember that thing as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going with all three of us, me, myself, and I. What's going on, everybody? It's Mike Walter.
Yes, sir. Mike
from
Walter.
my basement in Jersey.
Yes, and I'm in my kitchen/bar stool.
Yeah, it's a different background, so we should explain this to
That's
everybody.
right.
We're recording this in an evening as opposed to a morning.
It is nighttime. We just got off live, the Disc Jockey News live show Monday night. Mike
Which
and I.
was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mike and I just ran through on Disc Jockey News live, and you'll be able to go back and go to their channel on YouTube and see this, right, Mike?
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
So we went through our top 5 ballads, our top 5 fast oldies, our top 5 disco or 70s era songs, and our top 5 closers, right?
Older rap, too.
Older rap, but it was still, I think 2 or 3 of mine were from the 2000s, and then our closers. So if you get a chance, go back and watch
Interesting show.
that.
It ran about 50 minutes, and especially if you enjoyed that top 40 show we did a while back, and you're looking for some musical suggestions, see how our playlist compared to yours, it's always good, I think. Fun show.
We did, hold on, Mike. So we did, just real quick, I just want to say, so we did, how many topics? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, yeah.
So 25 songs, and I bet we didn't have 10 that were the
had
same. Maybe less.
I don't even think 10. Yeah, I think we had 5 maybe 1 in each category.
I think you're right. It was about 5. 5 out of 25 that we had the same. Anyway,
your definition of oldies is a little different than mine.
That's true.
You were more Motown. I was more 50s oldies.
That's true. Yep.
And when it came to the disco, you're more of a funk guy than I am. I'm more in the 125 to 130 BPM, and you're more in the low 100s.
You know what I did? You know what I did sub in that I don't know. I think I made this point. Instead of Celebration with Kool and the Gang was Get Down on It. I still play that all the time.
Get down on it.
It's that
Kool
funk.
and the Gang?
Yeah, Get Down on It.
Yeah, see, if I'm going to do a Kool and the Gang song that's not Celebration, it's Ladies Night.
Okay. I love that one too.
Yeah.
Doesn't it change tempo at the end, though? It kind of throws me off.
Yes, that's a live drummer, and that pitches up. You could tell the cocaine was kicking in on the drum. Ladies Night. Like, it starts at a 107, and I think he's up to 115 by the end. Either that or he really had to pee at the end. He's like, let's wrap this up, boys. I got to go. You're right. That one pitches way up.
Oh, my God. I'm like, what the hell just happened to this song?
Right, because you pre-time it halfway through the song. You're like, oh, I got this. And then you go to throw, and you're like, wait, my mix is off. Yeah.
It's a hot mess.
That's right.
All
Are we talking music? I have no idea what tonight's
You
topic.
really don't. I'm throwing it at you. Here it is. It's I'm going back to my notes. Sorry.
Okay.
Here it is. So we had a user, or I'm sorry, not a user, a listener.
User.
Sorry.
What are you thinking?
Is my audio and my video off a little bit? There's a little bit of lag.
Not
on
to me. You look fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Am I lagging?
It's okay. Most people listen to this
late,
instead of watching. Yeah.
Even my router is tired tonight. It's late. I'm not used.
Me neither. So Ian Lewer, I think is his last name, Lewer.
I know Ian. Yeah.
So he said, I'd love to hear about different regional differences. And I think that ties in with what we kind of just did musically. But
I think musically, if you want to start, Ian, you can go back and listen to our last show because I think that said a lot about regional differences. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I made some specific things that I thought may be different between us. And let's just start with, the bare essentials, Mike. I mean, and again, it may differ, in the South versus Jersey. We'll see. What is a basic or a basic system that you would take out? What would be considered, for a wedding? I'm just curious, like, what gear would you take out to, just your average wedding?
So 2 QSC K12s.
Okay. Tripods, obviously.
On stands, right?
Sure.
1 sub usually is enough.
Mm-hmm.
For smaller weddings, no sub. But yeah, for most, I've got the QSC sub that goes along with that. I'm sorry, I don't know the model number.
Yeah, I think it's KW 181.
That's probably it. And then the my controller, I have the Pioneer
SX.
Yeah. And 2 laptops. I like to have the backup. 2 cordless microphones. What am I missing?
I mean, that's
pretty much it. Yeah.
Pretty standard here. I mean, for me, it's I'm using those Evolve 50, kind of column looking speakers from EV right now.
Right.
SX2 controller, same as Mike. And me, just out of the 15 guys that I run here, I'm the only one, but I'm taking out my fiberglass DJ booth, and then that's pretty much it. And then laptop.
So I think as far as equipment goes, the regional differences, and I think you touched this on this in a very, very recent podcast, is the upgrades.
Yes.
We offer a ton of different upgrades.
Tons.
Now, they don't get booked, often.
Yeah.
I'd say at least half of our weddings go out with just the 2-person package, with no lighting, with no upgrades, especially nowadays because so many of our banquet halls have installed up lighting.
Yeah.
So probably 3 or 4 years ago, we sent lighting to the majority of our weddings, but that has cut back a lot. But, between uplighting and intelligent lighting and the TV screens and the dancing on the clouds and the sparkler effects nowadays, like we have a lot of these upgrades that we can offer a la carte or different packages. But you have said that you literally tried to give this stuff away, and you had brides that wouldn't even take it for free.
Yeah, I mean, I see your setups, I see J&I's setups, I see Bermio's setups, and I'm just like, I mean, listen, am I jealous in a way that that you guys get to DJ in front of such cool stuff? Absolutely, but it's just like I said, I even tried. I legit in a previous episode. Big Daddy's calling me. In a previous episode, I told Mike, I said, I took some pictures from Mike's site and Jan I's site, and I showed them to, I think, 10 clients, 5 corporate and 5 brides.
Right.
And I said, I know somebody that can do this stuff. The only thing I want to do is just set it up at your wedding and then take photographs and video. And not one of them took me up on it. It just, they weren't interested in it. So I think that's kind of what I was getting at, regionally differences in terms of production.
Well, and I'll tell you this, I have a love-hate relationship with the big upgrades because I especially the TVs, I really like having the visuals. I like the added, the ability to play some music videos and play the bride and groom's montage. We usually put it through the years. But I also like being able to get out of a place in 15, 20 minutes with no upgrades.
I can do that.
I mean, I was close to home on Saturday night. I ended at 10:30.
Yeah.
I pulled in my driveway at 11:05.
Yep.
That's, that's really, and I can't do that obviously with a ton of upgrades. So, there's more money involved, and I do like the visuals, and I feel cooler when I've got all, but there's also a nice bonus to, just get
in and out. Right.
So,
let's go over this, Mike. Let's go over the typical schedule. Can you walk me through?
Yeah, I would say timeline is probably going to be where we differ the most. So let's say Saturday wedding where we're doing ceremony. 6:30 ceremony, 7 o'clock cocktail hour, 8 o'clock bridal party introductions. Now, when I say introductions, I mean we introduce the bridal party. They do their first dance. They do their parents' dances, bride, dad, groom, and mom, and then blessing and toast, all up front.
Oh, wow.
Then after that, I'll keep them seated for a couple minutes because the banquet hall is either going to take dinner orders or serve a first course at that point. But when I say keep them seated for a few minutes, I'm talking 10 tops. And then they're up on the dance floor. So I'm opening up the dance floor with slow song, maybe some of those oldies that we talked about in the last podcast on Disc Jockey News, maybe a 15, 20 minute set there. Sometimes there's 2 courses before dinner, so I might have to sit them again and then get them back up for a little mini set, and then they sit for dinner. So a lot of times at an 8 to 12 reception, they're sitting down for dinner at like 9. And when I say dinner, I mean main course. They're sitting down at like 9:30.
Golly, that's late.
But again, we've danced them, 45 minutes has been dancing of that. And then after dinner, traditionally after dinner, we would dance for a while and then do the cake cutting. But a lot of my couples nowadays don't even do cake. A lot of my couples will take a picture off to the side with the cake because they don't want to interrupt the flow of the dance floor.
It's unbelievable.
In the second.
Yeah. How about bouquet and garter? How many are you? 50,
Yeah. So
50
if we do the cake, it's usually cake cutting, bouquet, and then I don't even remember the last time I had a couple want to do the garter. I really don't.
That's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's been a while. Yeah.
For us, Mike, it's probably get married at 5:30. That's half hour at the most. 6 to 7 cocktails. 7 to 11 dinner and reception. And so 7.
So break down the reception because that's where we're gonna for the most. So
7 o'clock. I would go out, line everybody up, introductions. So bring in the bridal party. Usually, sometimes the parents. Usually, parents and grandparents are seated, and then start the main track. Usually one track for them. Sometimes a different track for the bride and groom. Intros. 99.5% right into their first dance at least. And then that's where it can go either way. Either they knock out all 3 dances or they come in and do their first dance. The father of the bride usually welcomes everyone. Then there's a blessing given depending on how religious they are.
Right.
And then dinner is either served or there's food stations or buffet. It's honestly like 30%, 40%, something like that. It's not always a seated dinner. And again, it doesn't matter, it's not a class thing, it's not a venue thing, it's just preference. You know what I mean? I've seen some weddings I thought were $100,000 that still had food stations. You know what I mean?
So if you do intros at 7, your first dance, your parents' dances, and then you're opening buffet right away.
Yeah. There is no going for it. As you
tell me what the food is during your cocktail hours.
Oh, just same as past hors d'oeuvres. Mini crab cakes. You
don't have stations during your cocktail hours?
No.
Okay.
There's no pasta station, no meat station, nothing.
Yeah.
That.
Our cocktail hours tend to be a little bit more elaborate than that.
Yeah.
There's usually a pasta station, maybe a shrimp station.
Yeah.
There's one place here that does like
a bite-sized thing.
Yeah. Well, most of these are quoted. To me, the biggest. I've said this before. A lot of times, the difference between cocktail hour and the buffet is the size of the plate.
Right.
Like they give you this plate for cocktail hour.
Right.
They give you this plate for buffet. Yeah. It's basic. But they have a lot of times they have a pasta station with 3 different types of pasta, so it can be very filling. And that's one of that the places by us that want to do a buffet right after intros. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why don't you let me dance them for a half hour and then sit them for buffet? Because they just ate. They just spent an hour eating cocktail hour.
Grazing.
Food.
Yeah.
Who wants to eat again? Like, who wants to take 15 minutes to watch a first dance and then go eat again? Mm-hmm. So let me dance them a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
But so I guess if cocktail hour is lighter down by you, then maybe that logic doesn't have to, prevail. But that would be my argument too. I'd say, look, let me try to, if we're going to do intros at 7, we're done with that by what, 7:20, 7:30. Let me do the buffet at 8. Let me just dance them for a half hour.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Again, man, that whole going for it thing obviously works. It's just a matter of all it's a matter of, Mike, is approaching the staff in the right way, and saying, hey, I want to try this. You don't want to just kick it out there.
Well, of course not. Yes, you're never gonna get referred by a place. They're gonna hate you. So don't do this against the banquet hall's wishes.
Yeah.
But unless I'm missing something about food, to plan a buffet for 8 o'clock or 7:30 shouldn't make that much of a difference. Right. So if they know in advance, and people might actually appreciate the food more because they're a little hungrier. They haven't just eaten.
Yeah. Off the cuff.
So then you do your buffet, and then after the buffet, are you dancing them straight? A
lot of people, Mike, coming out of the buffet, like as soon as I can start hearing the plates rattling, the service staff is clearing plates, then I'll go over and look at the bride and say, it's pretty much time to dance with your father.
Okay. So you're doing parents' dances. If you didn't do them up front, you're doing
father, daughter, mother, son.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, that's not true, Mike. I would have come out of that, gone and made sure everybody was in the room for the toasts.
Okay, and that's always one of my challenges with doing any of those things after dinner is you literally have to do a roll call.
Absolutely.
Like make sure every important person is in the room.
Yep.
Whereas that's one of the reasons why I like doing everything right after the introductions, because nobody's left the room yet.
Yep.
All the VIPs are seated and in their place.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of my couples, well, not a lot, but sometimes couples will say to me, we want to do parents' dances after dinner. Mm-hmm. Great. I'll do whatever you want. But just understand, right after dinner, I'm going to say to you, look around the room. Make sure everybody, if your sister's out smoking a cigarette or somebody's out at a phone call, then we got to wait.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And that is a problem sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
It can be.
You know.
Especially if you have a big smoking crowd with that are just constantly out of the room.
Or just, or the restroom is in a different part
Yeah.
of the building or whatever. Like,
Right.
people can disappear and get ghosts, and it's hard to corral.
So toast is after dinner.
Yep. And then the toast would usually go right into the cake or vice versa.
Okay.
And then father-daughter, mother-son, and then literally as the last notes of the mother-son dance are playing out, let's give Brian and his mom a big hand, clap, 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 and then, whatever, my sign still delivered or something like that is, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to, get these lights turned down.
So at a 7 to 11 wedding, what time is that about?
That would
is
be,
it like 8:30?
Yeah.
So then you're dancing them 2.5 straight hours.
Yeah. The only breaks would be probably about 9:30. I would do bouquet and garter if they do it. Again, it's probably 50-50 at this point.
Right.
And then, I'm partying until almost 11.
So I'm probably doing about the same amount of dancing, maybe a little bit more, but it's broken up into segments.
Right.
And I like it that way. I'm doing, 20 here, 20 here, and then 2 hours later.
Yep.
But, I think it's easier than just 2.5 hours because you can tire some people out. I had a wedding this past weekend. When I met with the bride, she actually said to me, can you play no slow songs at my wedding? And I said, I can if you want, but, some of you, and even the groom was like, yeah, we got to have a couple slow songs. I said, I'll do anything you want, but I think some of your guests may have come. So she said, play 2. I'll let you have 2. So I only play 2 slow songs all night.
Wow.
And that means, and I had blown both of those before dinner. So after dinner, I went straight the entire night.
Wow.
We did do cake cutting. So that was my one little break.
Mm-hmm.
But that, and by the end of that night, I mean, those people were beat up.
Yeah.
I had partied them hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was tired.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, that's, it's definitely different.
So other than timeline, I can't think of other differences.
I want to, I got a couple more, of course.
I mean, obviously music is big.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple more non-musical ones. So Mike, let's say, how many weddings did y'all do last year, company-wide?
850, I think.
Weddings. Holy smoke. How many do you think you had to do the ceremony audio? I mean, again, just a...
2/3.
Really? That many?
Yeah, probably 550. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same here, man.
Yeah, it's grown every year. And to be honest with you, some of those weddings still got married on site. They just had musicians. So it's not even 2/3, 1/3 getting married in a church. A lot of those weddings that we didn't do ceremony music for got married on site, but hired the trio or the local violin guy or whatever.
So, I mean, what do you attribute that to, Mike? I mean, do you feel like less people are believers? There's less religion?
Yes, I think we're becoming a much more secular country.
Yeah.
There are much fewer believers, and even the believers don't go to church. So it's not that, I mean, church attendance is down everywhere, Joe. So I know you don't want to stray into religious topic here.
I don't. I was curious if you thought it was that.
For it,
or if it was
a convenience.
Well, I mean,
do you have another explanation?
No,
convenience comes in, but let's face it, if you were super religious, convenience wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
You'd get married in a church.
Sure.
And the few that are left, I'd say it's probably 25% of our couples get married in a church. So I was just looking at pictures today from the weekend that our studio shot, and I was pulling out shots, and they got married in a church, and I was almost like, oh, this is weird.
Well, that's weird.
I mean? I'm not used. Yeah.
Me neither. It's almost unheard of lately, and I would say the same number for us, Mike. We probably do 400, half of what y'all do, and 2/3 we're doing the ceremony of some sort, whether it's the music and or the microphones. We're doing it. Right. Okay. How about we kind of briefly touched on this, and I know you and I have talked about this a little bit before, but you're saying that the majority of the shows that you guys do, especially yourself, it's a full-on seated dinner, not a buffet, not stations.
Weddings, yes. The majority of weddings, yeah. Non-weddings, we see a lot of buffets at, the birthday parties and anniversaries and even corporate events and stuff. But weddings, I'd say it's probably 80% that have seated dinners.
Yeah. I would say you could take ours and divide it almost into thirds. Third buffet.
So a third seated, third buffet, and what's the other third? Food stations?
Like a food station. Yeah.
But it's still treated like a buffet,
it is.
Right?
Yeah, you have to.
Now, when you have buffets, do you call up tables, or does somebody?
I make the announcement that the staff will be coming around.
So somebody comes around.
Yeah.
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 That's a much
But
classier way.
when I started out, they would say, somebody would come over and whisper in my ear, 1 through 3, and I'd go, ladies and gentlemen, tables 1 through 3, help yourself to the buffet. It was just so bad. I hated it. But no, it's been a
did
while.
this thing. Do you know George Whitehouse?
Yeah.
I DJ'd his 50th birthday party a number of years ago, and they had a buffet, and so I had him, or I think it was a surprise party. So I think Wendy, his wife at the time, I had her write out a bunch of trivia questions about George.
Yeah.
And so to open the buffet, I said, the first table that comes up and can tell me where George went to high school. And so people ran up, and this table can go, and then whatever the trivia questions were. So I don't know if that would work at a wedding, but it's a different way to open a buffet rather than just table 1, table 2.
Right.
It's great. Corporate parties, if you get a bunch of trivia questions about the corporate, the company or something like that, it could be an interesting, fun, kind of interactive way to open. I feel
like I saw somebody. You kind of had to sing for your meal. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
I don't remember. Like if like there was a card on the table.
It had to be the word love had to be in the title.
There was
so you got people that would sing "That's Amore" or
that's right. Yeah. That was in some video or something where you had to like sing.
I
for
agree.
Your meal
I think
kind of thing.
Randy Bartlett might have put that out or somebody.
Somebody did.
Yeah. Sounds like a Scott favorite thing, actually.
Could be a favorite thing.
Yeah.
A lot of ethnic weddings, Mike. I mean,
we do our fair amount of Jewish weddings.
That's what I was going to say. Jewish weddings, Middle Eastern, Indian.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're seeing more Middle Eastern. I think one of the challenges that we find with especially Indian weddings is they want an Indian DJ, and I don't currently have one on staff.
I just went through this, man.
Yeah,
it's classic.
Yeah.
I've told this story several times, maybe not on the podcast or on air, but I do probably, Mike, maybe 2 a year, and they're, down here I would consider what would be large would be 400 or 500 people. I mean,
that's large.
Okay, right.
Large. That's large.
So I guess while we're on this subject, what is your average attendance, Mike, for a wedding?
175 to 200.
Okay, see, we're more like 120 to 150 down here.
Yeah.
But anyway, and so twice in a row this happened to me in probably like 2015, I think, 2016. And I was in Charlotte, big hotel. I think it was a Westin or something nice. And I'm dragging stuff in. And I'm basically taking everything I own for this thing. It was a huge wedding.
Right.
Everything. I'm dragging it in. And and I don't remember if it was anybody even affiliated, but they had the morning ceremony, and there was the break. And some people were just kind of milling around the ballroom where I was dragging stuff in. Are you the setup guy? That's what they said. Are you the setup guy? And I was like, no, I am the guy. And like their faces were like, no, not you. And I'm like, no, I got this, bro. Right. Because it was kind of a, they didn't want only Indian music.
Yeah, right.
In fact,
right.
I think the groom was from.
I was going to say, was both the bride and groom Indian?
No. Nope.
Okay. That's usually how, when we get an Indian wedding, it's because one of them are Indian.
Correct.
And one of them are whatever.
And they were terrified, though, man. And it was so funny. I was like, I promise you, like I have worked with, I can't remember the bride's name, but she and her sister got me dialed in. And I mean, they were just like, no, not like, you. No, not you. And I'm like, I got it. And dude, it's
funny.
End of the night, they were like, you're the man.
You are. I don't know why people assume that you have to be of a certain ethnicity
to rock the party.
To rock a party. I mean, at the end of the day, it's fun. It's music. It's music. You know what I mean? So
it's about preparation.
But, we get our share of that.
Yeah.
Like I said,
you said a lot of Jewish weddings. I mean, like
a fair amount. Yeah.
20%, 15%.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it probably. I don't know what the percentage of Jewish people in New Jersey is, but it probably matches that.
Yeah.
I just the couple I met with earlier tonight, an April wedding. He's Jewish and she's Christian.
Gotcha.
So we were talking about, they hadn't decided whether they want Hava Nagila. Basically, he just said, look, if my family asks for it, play it, but I don't care.
Right. Wasn't like a deal breaker.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Where are we? We got just a few more minutes left. This actually went really well. So coming hot off the Mobile Beat seminar that Mike crushed last week, line dances. Let's just say line dances / interaction. I mean, Mike, is this, and again, not something you want to do because you're obviously a service industry professional. You do what the couple wants to do. I mean, is it pretty much, and again, speak more from your own, however many you do a year. Do most people say, Mike, I want you to do your show and I want you to come out and I want you to show us how to do this? Or is it more like,
So I don't even talk to my couples about interaction. Unless they tell me, and it's extremely rare, I don't even remember the last time it happened. Unless they tell me we don't want an MC on the dance floor, then I assume they know my style. They've seen us at a showcase. They know. So I don't even say, hey, do you want me on the dance floor? The question I do ask, though, is about audience participation.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I met with this couple earlier tonight. They didn't fill out our music online, so I didn't have any of their must plays or don't plays or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked them a couple questions about music, and they really didn't have a ton of opinions about it. And I said, so let's talk about audience participation, electric slide, Cupid shuffle, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And they said, oh, yeah, we don't really care about that stuff. So do it if you want, but don't do it if you don't have to. That was pretty much their opinion. So then I jotted that down. Audience if needed. I always jot that down like that.
Yeah.
I'd say close to half of my couples say absolutely no line dancing whatsoever.
Really?
They don't want any line dancing. The other half leaves, a couple for me to play, but they don't want me to overdo it. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So really, one doesn't go with the other. I mean, in other words, you're saying you can still do audience participation, sing-alongs, and things like that, and not do the Cupid shuffle and cha-cha slide. That's interesting.
Just because a client says to me, I don't want any line dancing whatsoever, in my head, that does not mean don't be on the dance floor.
Don't do my show.
Those two are not synonymous in my. And now maybe they meant that, but I've never had anybody during a wedding say, "Hey, what are you doing out here?"
Yeah. Take it down a notch, pal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's interesting, though. I didn't think you were going to say that high of a number said no line dances.
Yeah.
I think mine.
And listen, I hate it, and I hope it comes around full circle because most things do in life.
Yeah.
I would much prefer. God, it's coming to the end of a long day.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of the word prefer.
I know.
I'd much prefer to get at least two line dances. And a lot of times when I'm told no line dancing at all, I could really use one to break the ice.
Yep.
Because sometimes when they say no, party is tough getting going. And I know, man, if I could throw on the Cupid shuffle here, I'd pack this floor. But I gotta,
I know what you
I gotta honor their wishes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ours is probably, Mike, maybe the same, man. 50% say they just don't want line dances. Again, even sometimes they'll say we don't even want you to take requests from the guests, like stick to our list and then add in what we'll like or whatever. Yeah. But, well, man, this was
if clients say that to me, unless it's one of those clients that's giving me like 150 requests.
Yeah, right.
Like if they say don't take requests, what I say to them is, look, your guests might ask me for requests, but first of all, know that I'm not going to play just anything. If it's a horrible song and it's going to clear the dance floor, or if it's wildly inappropriate, I'm not going to play it anyway.
Sure.
And a lot of times I think what clients mean by that is no dedications. Right. They don't want to hear this song is going out to so I tell them that. So because they don't know the difference. If I'm playing a song that's not on their list, they don't know whether it's from, Aunt Sally requested this or I just played it. So
that's correct.
I assure people that, listen, I don't play just anything that your guests ask for, because if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Then I'm not going to play.
Yeah, man. Well, this was a good one. You told me to mention it at the beginning, and I don't think I did because we just started firing.
Oh, we pre-recorded.
We did pre-record this. So
we're in March right now, and this isn't going to about till April.
That's
so that's
right.
how we're.
That's right. I've got a couple things coming up. Got my kids.
Joe's a traveling mofo.
Traveling man. Taking my kids on vacation for spring break.
So where are you going to be? Oh, that's right.
Mexico.
So this is Easter.
Yeah,
you're in Mexico.
Mexico
nice.
with the kids.
Yeah, very good.
Usually just with my wife. We're giving it a shot this year with the kids. So it'll be good. Last thing is 919-364-6186. Text PHDJ to that, and you can.
And we have not. I know we've had a couple of people ask us about this. We have not figured out a new date yet. We need to really get with the guys from Mobile Beat, because I don't know about you, but I'd love to be back there next year.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of dovetailed right at the end of that show.
Yep.
But for the people who are curious, who missed it this time around,
we've
had a couple of people ask, are you ever going to do it again? Yes, indeed. We are definitely going to do another one. We just have to figure out logistics.
So if you want to put a tentative hold on your calendar, I believe I looked today, and it's March 14th and 15th, 2019. So hold that Thursday and Friday at the end of Mobile Beat. And, we'll all keep our fingers crossed that we can lock those dates down.
And text that phone number, because as soon as we set the date, we, of course, text out the details. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mike,
Good.
that's a great one, man. A long
Joe,
day.
have fun traveling, and we'll do a live one soon, right? Sometime in mid-April.
That's right.
Have a good one, dude.
Bye, guys.
Later.